Hi, Gosha here. Today I wanted to talk about a subject that I hardly talked about alone in itself, even though this is like one of my special things that have been preoccupying my mind for the last 10 years of my life, and that has built into virtually everything that I talk about in this channel. And this is the disembodiment, the lack of the mind-body connection that I see amongst all the neurodivergent people, or most of the neurodivergent people. And from this episode onwards, I will not be limiting myself to talking just about highly sensitive people, because what I've been always talking about was about sensitive people. I wasn't really using that label in itself, but I was using this as description. And in my knowledge, something's changed that pushed the group of sensitive people far beyond what I thought, and includes people with on autism spectrum and virtually all groups of neurodivergent people that have different kind of labels. This plays to my own discovery of finding out in late age, 43 years old, that I am on autism spectrum and that I do have ADHD. And this actually have dropped something in my mind that made so many things so much clearer. And I've been processing this for the last weeks or so, and now I feel much more comfortable talking about this, because as it turns out, my prior discoveries talking about mind, body, spirit connection are accurate, also taking into account that really misunderstood group of people on autism spectrum. Now, everyone is different. Some people will resonate with this, some won't. And what I have to say today, I think it will be useful for so many different reasons. So let's talk about why being disembodied, why the mind and body connection is so disrupted in the lives of sensitive, neurodivergent people. I'll keep using the word sensitive because I use this specifically as the common denominator. So the very reason that originates for this disruption of lack of embodiment, lack of sense of self even, comes from early in childhood. Born into a sensitive, super sensitive body, born with the outlook on life that neurodivergent people have, makes us very different, makes us perceive reality, even as children, differently. And this means basically that what we perceive doesn't meet with what adults in our life perceive. And it might be either excessive what we perceive or mismatching to what they perceive. And it might mean from very early childhood that we are being gaslighted, that what we see, what we perceive, the things that are real to us, because we perceive it through our body, through our senses, through our sensitive membranes and everything that receives the stimuli, that receives the signals from the world, is being not mirrored by the people in our life. And since sensitive people are in minority, there is a likely chance that people in your life didn't see what you were seeing. So they were not matching, they were not mirroring, they were not acknowledging, they were not validating your perceptions, they were not validating what you were perceiving. And the thing that happens as a tiny child or a bigger child, we have to belong into a group. We have this tribal dependence that makes us like basically dependent on survival. from our caregivers, from the community, whoever was taking care of you. And basically, having these big people agree with us is a big deal. Basically, they are the sort of guides. They are the people that are supposed to acknowledge our perceptions for us to start trusting their accuracy. If they are telling us downright that what we perceive is too sensitive, too much, that is inaccurate, that what we see is not true, and all these things that maybe you perceive something, temperature in the room, and they will tell you, no, it's okay. I don't know, maybe they will, just adjust your clothing, but it's like they will try to convince you that it's okay. Or maybe that, you feel like everything is too loud and you're startled, but they are not responding at all to your startle because for them it's normal and they have no idea why you're crying, why you're fidgeting, and why you're just so anxious and dysregulated, right? And they will find it hard too much to validate your perceptions. And what happens inevitably is the message is you're wrong, you're confused, you're too much, you're mistaken. We are the ones that tell you what's right, what's wrong, right? And this is certainly not what you perceive to be real. And I want to pause here because some of you might be like me, late discovered autistic people. Some may have discovered that they were autistic much early. Maybe it was observed early in childhood. Maybe you are not autistic at all. Maybe you are a highly sensitive person, but there is so many traits that are in common that I've been literally talking from the point of view of autistic person to highly sensitive people, and people were agreeing with me. So I would just really get into the subject and explore all the types of neurodivergent for you. Basically, what I'm trying to say is when someone discovered that you were super sensitive early in childhood, and maybe they were more accepting of this, maybe they were trying to meet you where you were to some degree, it might have been easier. But the problem with our society is that it runs on linear basis. They see what they see through their physical senses. They're very narrow viewed, they're very narrow perceptions that they have, and they just don't see the amount of things that we perceive. And they want us to be like them. They want us to behave like them. Even if that's not because they're frustrated with you, it could be that they want you to succeed in the idea that they think the success looks like, completely ignoring that it literally is everything that goes against your nature. So they might want you to behave certain ways that meet their criteria of what is normal. They might want you to stop being so difficult. They might want you to shut up when you're just being so dysregulated. They might want you to act normal when you are feeling like your brain is going to explode when you're out there in public with them. And they have no idea why you are so overwhelmed, why maybe the way you talk with others doesn't meet their social criteria. And from very early on, you have to start pretending. Start pretending to mirror people the way they want to be mirrored. Not them mirroring you as it should be, but you're mirroring them to belong, to survive, to exist in the group as the child has to. Now, going back to the mind-body disconnection and the sort of conflict that goes on here. The thing is that a lot and most of the sensitive stimuli that we receive that are so different, so divergent from the norm comes through our bodies. Our bodies are like antennas. okay? There are membranes in every bit of our body. We have fascia, we have cells that have the membrane. Our heart is interacting with electromagnetic fields. Like there's so many ways that we are responding to the invisible, unperceivable to others cues that they are missing, that we are receiving through our bodies, literally. And if they tell us consistently that we are wrong, that we are mistaken, that message means you're not safe to survive in the group originally, but that literally spreads into generalization to you're not safe to survive if you trust your body. You have to start trusting your trained, learned, habituated responses, the manual that these people download on you. In every corner, on every step, they will tell you how you should behave. This is how you should speak. This is how you should mirror me so that I, adult, feel good about you, that you are pleasing to me, right? That maybe my status is improved when I have such a good, well-behaved child, right? And from very early on, we stop trusting our body, which are true because we perceive what we perceive. But if they are mismatching, if they are not matching, if they are not validating us, but demand this go the other way around, that we are matching their limited, narrow perception, then we make our bodies the enemy. We make ourselves the enemy, and we go up into our minds. This is where like all highly sensitive people, all neurodivergent people live most of the time. They constantly like ruminate. They constantly think, did I do it right? Did I do it good enough? Am I saying the right thing? Oh, how is this person receiving me, right? This is basically like this avalanche of anxiety, the snowball that is just picking up more and more self-doubt, going through life, going through more corrections, going through more invalidation, going through more gaslighting, going through more bullying and all that stuff, where people just don't respect you for who you are. They just like see what you perceive through, I don't know, you explain it to them, something that you see, and they're just like, what the hell are you talking about, right? Again, you have to self-correct to the point that, okay, there is a lot of autistic people that don't go to so much self-correction, but especially those highly masking, like myself, have gone through a phase that they over-regulate. They have to over-control themselves because they really believe they are flawed. They are completely mistaken. For all highly sensitive people, that's kind of the thread that is going. I'm mistaken, I'm flawed, there's something wrong with me. These other people, they know something that I don't, right? And I have to memorize it. And basically what happens, we start acting from this, but it's so exhausting because it's not natural, it's not authentic. It doesn't come from you, it comes from the manual that is downloaded. And it comes from like constant overthinking and checking, am I doing the right thing, you know? And if you're not, then there is a chance that you will say something wrong, that maybe you will not be pleasing enough, right? You have to start speaking with a soft voice, maybe that is not offending other people. This is like really the complete pendulum swing that so many highly sensitive people do, like all the way from being their natural self, immediately just ignoring this, bypassing their own self, bypassing their own senses, and just behaving as they're supposed to be, as there would be an ideal person that is pleasing, that is molding themselves to everyone else's expectations, right? To the point that, you know, they've never developing their strong sense of self. They are always in reference to this person, that person, this group, right? These are referential to them. And again, going back to the sense of the mind-body disconnection, that makes us completely disconnected. If we stop trusting our body, it makes us completely disconnected from our wants, from our personal needs, from like basic needs, like when am I hungry? When do I have to go to the toilet? I will just push through and work a little bit more because, you know, the boss will be happy. You know, that's kind of a normative thing to do. This is a socially accepted thing to do. This will keep me safe. Where in fact they are neglecting themselves over and over and over in big and small situations. Not following their wants that really spring from their body, not following their needs, not following their inclination to like, this feels exciting, this feels like it's my purpose, right? And then maybe choosing something that is more pleasing, like a career path that would please parents. And this really spills into so many areas of life where there is a complete abandonment of self that relies on being connected to the body, being connected to our sensitivity, and standing up for, well, everyone might not see what I see, everyone might not perceive what I not perceive, but this is mine. I feel like when I see this group, it feels off. It feels really bad. There's something wrong going on. I don't know what it is, but no matter how shiny they look like, there's something really corrupt going on, right? And you just move yourself away from, not as like we're taught to like overanalyze and like, oh yeah, they look good and they clearly aligning well. They have something going. I should make myself fit in there because this way I will be safe, right? Or so many other situations you can come up with. Really not good with examples. But I hope this will give you a lot to think about, because this mind-body disconnection is really what leads then on to many health problems, mistaken being confused on the path you should be taking to feel satisfied, to feel happy. It might bring us to relationships that are abusive because we're not listening to our senses. We're listening to the words that people say. This is the realm of normative people, the words, you know, this is the surface level. But we originally are born with sensitive bodies, with senses that pick up on nuance. And the neurodivergent people have developed the sense of embodiment, they reconnect their intuitive senses to the perception that goes beyond what's obvious. They will always tell you that, like, oh my God, this gives me so much power. This gives me sovereignty over like being in different relationships, standing up for myself. It gives me a sense of stability. It gives me more health because I know how to take care of myself. I know how to prioritize my needs because finally I'm listening to those needs. I can prevent illness from happening when I take care of myself, when I don't push so much that the stress keeps rolling and rolling when we behave inauthentically and increase the allostatic overload in our body, which leads to so many diseases. Going against your nature, exhaustion, fatigue, burnout, all these things could be avoided if only we were listening to our bodies. And, you know, there are different methods nowadays that cater to sensitive people, to neurodivergent people of all kinds. Everyone now talks about like you have to be mindful, you have to get into the body and all that stuff. And they're slowly discovering that these things work, that when we ground, these things work. But still no one knows why they work. And this is because we literally have to reconnect to our stability, to our anchor that gives us that sense of self, that sense that is grounded in this realm that allows us to feel what action is needed and propel it through force that we have when we are in touch with our bodies. Okay, this video has gone on for a little bit longer than I thought it would, but I hope it was useful. And this is some of the knowledge that builds into my book, something that I'm writing. I thought I would be posting this chapter by chapter on my website. It's for free, it's available for you for free. So I encourage that you read it, that you start reading this, because what was supposed to be a chapter, it turned out to be a whole full-blown theory of neurodivergence, sensitivity, that is much more complex and complicated to connect, but it's coming. And if you are not on my newsletter, definitely subscribe, because this is where I notify people and this is where I go deeper into talking about how I navigate my life as a super sensitive person, as an autistic person with ADHD and all kinds of neurodivergence. For now, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.